Hello, everyone. Welcome into TexAgs Rewind, presented by Yeti. David Nuno and Billy Liucci here with us. It's been a minute, buddy.
Dave,
how are you?
It hasn't, but on the rewind, has.
Rewind, maybe 22 was the last time you did it. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
So on the program today, we spent a lot of time talking Aggie hoops. Buzz Williams, always good. I would say exceptional today.
Yeah, some real insight into kind of the inner workings with the team. Some tough conversations he's had or hasn't had, as it turns out, yet, as he kind of sorts through the moving target that is kind of evaluating where your team's at and the performance with this kind of unprecedented non-conference slate, but also, dealing with injuries and absences. And it's been tough, but almost a massive win on Saturday. Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades unless it's college basketball, because simply playing those games helps you in more ways than one. So we'll see. Conference play coming up. Obviously, they're going to have to win their fair share, but despite Saturday's outcome, they positioned themselves nicely in the non-conference. You're just like, gosh, that much, one possession, it could have been just a massive win for this season in this program.
So we had Buzz and Liucci on. We had Liucci talking about the latest with the transfer portal, the good and the bad out there. SEC Network's Tom Hart joined us, as he always does on a Monday. And, of course, the Go Hour with Olin Buchanan. Check it out, TexAgs Rewind.
I still believe that Texas A&M has a championship-caliber roster at this time. To me, a successful NIL year would be being able to keep the lion's share, the nucleus of that roster intact.
Sure.
That would be, to me, more impressive. Now, are there guys out there that, I hope you land this guy to need a tackle, need this, but what if you, because they're not gone yet, but what if you came up with NIL to retain Walter Nolan, to retain Chase Basantes, throw out another name? Like we knew Jake Johnson was gone as soon as his brother was gone. So that was a lost cause. God bless him. We all understand that. We all understand family. Best of luck to you. But what if you retain Fidel Diggs? If you retain these guys that I think are really good players that were held back by all the issues we've talked about for the last month, I think that would mean more. That would be more successful, mean more for NIL, and be more conducive to having a successful football team in 2024 than the guys you're going to bring in.
Surprisingly, the offense has done a pretty good job so far. You always got to throw in so far because the portal's still open for a little bit longer, of keeping guys. So far, for the most part, the offense has done pretty well.
Seems that way.
You were going to lose Max. You were going to lose Jake, right?
Right.
And then you got some guys going to the NFL.
Yeah, I mean that's that you knew that was going to happen, right?
So the interesting part for me is like, what if you keep Evan Stewart, and what if you keep Chase Basantes, and what if you're able to keep Walter Nolan, and if you put that on a board of NIL guys or transfer guys. Had they gone elsewhere, how would that team feel about what they were? And A&M has a chance to keep them. There's a couple guys that A&M would love to have back there in the portal right now that they're not out of, right? So if those guys decided to play, if maybe being with their boys could kind of keep them around, right? And like, man, I got some history with these guys. I don't want to leave them. I think in that case, but if they're for sure gone, like, no, get out the door.
Yeah, I think that it's really interesting. You nailed it. Like the portal's being used for a variety of reasons. If players are out there saying, I want to improve my playing situation, and that is the number one reason for me to leave, let's say, Duke to go to Notre Dame, I don't think there's a whole lot of people, even within that fan base, they're going to roll their eyes or talk ill about that player. We all understand that. Everybody leaves, even adults, we leave jobs for better jobs. When we have the right to make that decision. But if it's just a negotiating tactic, that actually fits differently with me. I don't know how I feel about that. But it's the calendar. We're kind of stuck with this. Calendar is what it is. It's unfortunate, especially like you look at the Texas situation. You have a backup quarterback that would love to play in the playoff, but school's starting. Like he can't stick around for another 3 or 4 weeks into the next semester. What's the latest, by the way, speaking of portal, is Evan Stewart going to play?
We don't know if he's going to play, but he's not in the portal. And I think Billy was pretty optimistic where things are. So we'll see how things play out here. There's still time, right? So things can change. But I think they've done a really good job on the offensive side of the ball, keeping players around, at least as of right now. Again, this is such a weird... Tom, it brings up the point that you said a moment ago. Like, a lot of this stuff, it doesn't take a brainiac to figure out. Like, we could have figured out the timing of the portal a year ago, right? Like, this is not hard. Like, okay, let's do it now instead of during the bowl season and right when coaches are being let go and they're transit. Like, it doesn't, you don't have to have that much foresight to figure out this is a bad time to put the portal.
No, but I don't think there's a perfect time.
You want to take these in parts, just the wide receiver, Cyrus Allen, as I mentioned earlier, 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns in a position of need.
Position of need for sure. And being what he did at La Tech last year, that's over his career. Last year, I believe it was just a little under 800 yards. Look, you watch him, he's a playmaker. He makes plays. We said the same thing a year ago at this time about Trey Harris. And I don't know if you guys have blocked it out of your memory or not, but Trey Harris went and scalded a depleted A&M secondary, but scalded them for 200 yards. And it wasn't just because they were depleted. He made some of the more ridiculous catches you'll see. He was a difference maker in the SEC for Ole Miss this year. You hope A&M has similar success with Cyrus. They needed him. They need receivers. They need depth. The portal is not closed either direction. You're losing Anais Smith. They needed Cyrus Allen. There was much to be made about, I believe they lost Colin Lacey to, where did he go? He went to, I get confused with the Louisville, Kentucky. He went to Louisville. The other guy, the guy from North Texas, went to Kentucky. But people were hand-wringing over that. This guy looks every bit as good.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Cyrus Allen, I think that's a big pickup for A&M. I don't think they're probably not done. They're not done at receiver either in the portal or via the high school ranks. Depending on what happens at the position, I could see them going and maybe grabbing another receiver in the portal. I personally think they should, regardless, if they can.
What about Alex Howard, the Youngstown State linebacker?
I love his production, and it's tough to, unless you're a talent scout, a linebacker scout. He looks like he can run and is active on tape, but I'm just looking at the production there, and I'm looking at the career numbers are always a little bit hard to parse through, but I look at how he did last season, and he looked like the best player on that Youngstown State defense, and I think, look, that's a desperate position of need. I think they need another one. I think they need one more.
We are grateful for those that were in attendance. Obviously, the venue is as good as there is in the country, but I thought the ambiance and the environment, whether it's the combination of Texas LSU, I don't know. We weren't allowed to be in the gym when they played, but man, I thought for the Aggies and the Cougars, I thought it was a Sweet 16, Elite 8 type environment and type of game. The players, the level of talent, the physicality. For it to be the second week in December, I thought there were a lot of things that felt like the second or third week in March.
Buzz, you guys are down 21 in that game, and then the run happens. What kind of conversations are happening during mid-game to get your team back and watch Wade just go off the way he did?
Yeah, I said this in post-game. I don't want to take any credit at all. So, yes, I was saying a lot of things. I wasn't necessarily saying anything that I have not said before. I think some of this has to do with what we've been through in the first 6 weeks of the season. It's we've played more Quad 1 games than any team in the country other than Purdue. We've won as many Quad 1 games as anybody in our league. I think some of this is we've had reps of this level of game, this type of talent, this sort of environment. We were down 21 with minutes against Iowa State. I know that in that particular game, we were playing without Henry and playing without Boots.
Billy, see if your teleprompter tells you what to tell the people to do after the show.
My teleprompter?
I just made that up.
I was about to say, I don't know if you guys added one.
No,
Sometimes they like to just spend money willy-nilly around here. Tells me to click the like button, subscribe, tell friends about it, and just watch.
Just watch.
Listen, talk about it. It's really helpful.
It's The Rewind. We'll see you next time.